I'm Veronica Post. I'm the creator of Let the Good Times Roll, and this is the True North Country Comics podcast.
Welcome to the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book and graphic novel creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I chat with Veronica Post in conversation about her latest graphic novel, Let the Good Times Roll, from Conundrum Press. Please like and subscribe to this website by hitting the subscribe button so you'll be notified about new podcast interviews and article posts. This podcast is available wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Veronica Post, based in Halifax, Nova Scotia, is an award-winning graphic novelist and multidisciplinary artist. She attended University for Philosophy and Fine Arts before moving to Montreal, where she completed her studies in cabinet making and discovering the DIY culture of self-published zines. She joined a zine distro and began creating comics while following a path towards becoming a furniture maker. Her path took a turn when she left Montreal for the allure of travel. She spent 8 years exploring Canada, America, and Eastern Europe, where she began working on what would become Fugitive Days, and more recently, Hot to Trot graphic novels. She recently produced a children's picture book entitled The Bouncing Beat, a rhyming celebration of Ukrainian culture. Her latest graphic novel is Let the Good Times Roll. Let the Good Times Roll is a story about how disabled travelers and their loved ones come up with creative solutions while navigating barriers abroad. Designed to expose the reality of travel in a wheelchair to able-bodied readers, this book fosters greater understanding and change toward a more inclusive world. So, without further ado, here's my chat with Veronica Post in conversation about her latest graphic novel, Let the Good Times Roll, from Conundrum Press. So, Veronica Post, thank you very much for taking time to chat with me.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time. Before I get going with all the questions, I would like to know, what are you reading today?
Right now, I am reading a book called Den of Inequity, which is a Conundrum Press book by D. Boyd, and it's about growing up in the 1970s in New Brunswick.
Ah, right. I think D. Boyd was at TCAF from writing that book here in Toronto not too long ago. So, interesting book.
Launched at TCAF, yeah.
Well, you and I met up recently at a lot of different events, but one that comes to mind is the Dartmouth Comic Arts Festival. You were one of the co-organizers. So I got to ask you, how was that show for you?
Oh, it was so fun. We had a great time, and all of our panel discussions and workshops and the portfolio reviews all went really well. So I'm just more excited than ever to organize for next year.
Oh, really? So plans are already underway?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good.
We're applying for some funding. It's going to be great.
Glad to hear. Well, we're here talking today about your latest graphic novel, Let the Good Times Roll, from Conundrum Press. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit, what is the story all about?
Yeah, so this one is another autobiographical travel story for me. This one's more of a direct autobiography, so I'm actually a character in it, and my dad's a character in it, and family members. It's about a family vacation that I did with my dad and other people in my family to the Netherlands. And it was my dad's first international trip since being in a wheelchair. So it was sort of about us navigating how to organize that, like how to set up the things that he would need, and then all of the unforeseen issues that we came up with and how we had to navigate those on the fly.
Yeah, that's something unexpected, I guess. You want to make sure everything is in place before you even venture out the door. So that's pretty understandable. Who's the audience for this book?
Well, I really would like the audience to be able-bodied people primarily, because what we are trying to do, and my dad really helped me a lot with this book. We sort of collaborated on it quite a bit. I think that what we would love is that able-bodied people, or people who don't have a disabled friend or family member, could read the book, especially people who work with people, who work in hospitalities or who work in planning, to see what it is that disabled people and their friends and family go through, the amount of extra work and problems that we encounter, which are really just a result of kind of not thinking about disability when we organize our world and when we plan things. So I think that would be my ideal audience, would be a lot of able-bodied people who own businesses or who work in hospitalities to read it and go, oh, wow, like how could I do better in my little sphere of influence that I have to make my world more accessible for people?
So I got to ask you then, what message do you hope readers take away from the book? Is this a commentary on society today about not including everyone in different activities? Is that pretty much it?
I think that's kind of, yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. It's like we've made so much progress. So there's a lot of positivity. It's not all negative at all. It's really more about the sort of lens, right? So, like, until my dad became a wheelchair user, I really didn't think about it much. And then in the years since then, it's like that is something I have to think about all the time. Anytime I want to do anything with my dad, we have to kind of plan ahead and anticipate problems all the time. So it's something that I kind of was like, if more people really thought about this, probably the world would be a lot more of an accessible place for everybody.
Right. So I'm going to switch gears here a wee bit and want to ask you then how you'd compare your creative process on Let the Good Times Roll versus one of your previous graphic novels, Hot to Trot. How would you compare the two?
Well, I think that this was a lot more collaborative. So, like I was saying, I worked with my dad, like I was sharing my progress with him and getting his feedback. I wanted to make sure that his experience was captured in a way that he thought was accurate. And also the other people in my family and friends that are in the book too, like I was really sharing it a lot with them just to see like, this is how I remember this happening. Like, am I missing anything? Do you remember anything different? You know, so it was more of a collaborative process this time.
And creatively, though, from an artistic standpoint, you were pretty much using the same tools and process that you used before to get the images on the page.
Yeah, images on the page, same as I did for my most recent Langosh and Peppy book. So I was working with Procreate and I used that for this book too. And also a slight difference is this is like a pocketbook sized book. So rather than have multiple panels on one page, it's one panel per page. So that was a bit different too.
Was that a challenge then to get the story across in a single panel?
It was only a challenge because I usually do such long form books that I had to do quite a lot of editing. I mean, there's so many things in there that I wanted to add in, but I just didn't have the space. So that was the big challenge, was that I wish I could have made it a bit longer. I would have been able to put more in if I had had multiple panels per page. But it was also fun to have that limitation, actually, because it's something I've wanted to get better at, is being more succinct.
Very good. I know that we've been meeting up at various events, festivals, wondering what activities you're doing to promote this book.
Oh, I'm so excited for the book launch that we're going to have. So, also, my dad has a lot of plans for how we can promote the book as well. My dad is actually working on a bit of a marketing scheme. But the public event that we're going to have soon is on October 8th, starting at 6:15 at the Halifax Central Library. And I'm going to do a presentation. I'm having a Q&A, a moderated Q&A with Scott Stoneman, who's another local podcast host. And we're also having a panel discussion with a whole group of guests. So we have someone from the deaf community, someone from the blind community, a disability travel agent, someone from the neurodivergent community to come and speak about their experiences with travel with their disability. So that should be really interesting. There's going to be lots of community engagement. So Q&As, the audience can get involved, ask questions. And I'm going to do a book signing at that event as well. So that's the big one that's coming up to promote this book. And I'm also going to be at the Afterwards Literary Festival on a panel discussion as well in November.
Where will that literary panel be taking place?
The Afterwards Literary Festival. I am going to be on November the 7th at 8:30 p.m. And I'm going to be there with Elle and Molly, a few other Conundrum artists who have released mini books also lately. So that should be fun too.
Sounds good. We've been talking about Let the Good Times Roll. I'm wondering, do you have any other projects on the go that you can talk about?
Mostly what I've been doing is organizing stuff with the Comic Creators Society of Nova Scotia. So I've been busy writing grant applications for that for us so we can continue offering more good panel discussions and workshops at DCAF next year. And I do have a grant that I'm going to be submitting in October for another Langouche and Pepe book. So hopefully that one will be the next big project for me.
Very good. So with everything you have on the go today and in the future, where do you recommend that people go online to find out more about you?
Yeah, so I have a website, which is veronicapost.com. And I also have an Instagram account, which is Veronica Post Comics. And those are the two best places to check out what's going on with me.
Great. Well, Veronica, those are all the questions I have for you, but I'm wondering, is there something I didn't ask that you'd like to get across in this interview?
I'm just really excited. I hope that people, really anybody who's interested in a fun, engaging travel story that involves families on vacation, family dynamics, and learning a little bit about what it's like to travel with a physical disability will pick up this book.
Thanks to Veronica for the chat. You can discover more about Veronica online at veronicapost.com and on Instagram at veronica.post.comics. You can discover more about Let the Good Times Roll on Conundrum Press. Thank you for tuning in to the True North Country Comics podcast. I invite you to visit the True North Country Comics website to listen to more conversations about creators on making comics and graphic novels. I also encourage you to subscribe via the website so you'll be notified about new podcast interviews and article posts. This podcast is available wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Please like, follow, and subscribe. You can follow along True North Country Comics on most social media sites, and you're encouraged to send any and all feedback to John at truenorthcountrycomics.com. Thanks for tuning in, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now. True North Country Comics Podcast is copyright True North Country Comics, copyright 2025.